Welcome back to the Do We Have Your Attention podcast, season 3. I'm Aisha, and with me always is
Paula.
Woohoo!
I don't know. I feel like I sounded like a man saying that. Paula.
Use your deepest voice.
Hi. Welcome. If you are new here, welcome to the Do We Have Your Attention podcast. We are really glad you found us. And if you're not new here, welcome back.
Woohoo! Shout out to our listeners that have stayed with us since season 1 and continue to stay with us.
Yes. You must really like having conversations that make you pause and think a little for you to be a season 3 religious follower and listener of the Do We Have Your Attention podcast. So shout out to you.
Shout out to you. And you know, we always have conversations that we're not really comfortable having out loud. So that means that you're here to grow and learn a lot. So shout out to you.
Are you shouting out to me or shouting out to them?
I'm shouting out to them.
It's the way you were staring at me. I was so confused.
No, I'm just saying shout out to them because these conversations can be hard to...
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a newbie no more, so I don't have that newbie feeling. But of course, to the newbies, this isn't a space where we rush to fix things.
Yeah.
This is not a space where we rush to fix things.
Yeah.
Or we tell you what to do with your life. So just starting with that.
Exactly, period.
So Paula, that's what you're looking for.
You're here.
Wrong place.
Abby, you're not here. Okay, can you tell the listeners what we're talking about today to just give them an idea?
Okay, so today we are going to be talking the act of people pleasing, which is honestly something many of us don't even realize that we're doing until we are completely exhausted by it, i.e. myself. But at least in my case, I do realize that I do that. But yeah, the exhaustion is real.
It is real.
And just to obviously be upfront as well, we're not here to tell you how to stop people pleasing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not what we're doing. Let's just put it out there.
No.
We're here to get curious about it, to really understand where it comes from, what it's been protecting you from, and what it might be costing you. So this is really reflection for you to really start to understand how people pleasing might show up in your behaviors.
Yep. And we, as we're going through the self-awareness, we want to be able to name these things because as therapists, we know that there's no one way that being a people pleaser can show up. So it could show up differently across cultures, across families, gender roles and expectations. So if you've ever found yourself agreeing when you didn't want to or you didn't mean to, or explaining yourself long after you were already tired, or even feeling resentful without quite knowing why, this conversation is for you. And so
I don't know why I got nervous all of a sudden when you said this conversation you said this conversation is for you, and I'm like, projection.
Loki, I heard it and I was like, hey, you might need this conversation too.
Okay, with that being said, can we at least check in with our feelings first before we dive into the conversation?
Yes.
Aisha, how are you feeling today?
Today, I am feeling, you know what? I'm feeling excited, but the weather outside is actually so bad. So it's like, when you want to be excited, but the weather is just so gloomy and we're expecting this big snowstorm.
Yep.
So I feel like I'm on edge because of that, because, you can't predict the weather. But I'm actually excited to have this conversation with you, and I'm curious to see the direction that we take this topic. How about you? How are you feeling?
I love that for you. I love me an excited Aisha. We don't know what we're going to be in for.
No, seriously. We take it. We let the wind blow us to whatever direction will be best.
So I think similar to you. I'm feeling yellow and feeling pink. So a little bit of excitement, feeling optimistic, but also a lot of creativity, love in the air too as well.
Oh,
I didn't mean it in that way. Please slow your roll.
I was like, wait, what did I miss?
Moving on. My first question to you.
Okay.
When we say people pleasing, what do we actually mean? And how is it different from simply being kind or considerate?
That's a very good question. I think for me, kindness means you're being intentional about showing up for yourself, showing up for the people in your lives. Like you being intentional about being generous, being caring, being present in other people's lives, because that's just something that you really value. Why that's not people pleasing is because you're being intentional about it.
Right.
People pleasing, it's more like a coping response, like a coping learned response.
Right.
To that focuses more on making other people's emotions more comfortable over yours. And it's not something that people typically do intentionally. It's just like a response that they find themselves engaging in due to just what their nervous system is used to. And typically, when you're younger and you've learned that it's better to manage or be there or make other people's emotions feel more regulated versus yours, then you start engaging in that behavior over and over again. What about you? What do you think?
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think that people pleasing is not kindness. Let's just start with that.
No, it's not.
It is so far from kindness and consideration, because when I think of people pleasing, I think of fear. It's from a place of fear, anxiety, inadequacy, insecurity. Kindness, consideration is from a place of wholeness, security, choice. They're so different from each other, but I understand how we can think that they are parallel or the same. But when we think people pleasing, it literally says they're people pleasing, meaning a lot of your actions are very much so in line with prioritizing the needs and the comfort of other people. Whereas kindness is you're not taking from yourself to give to other people. When I say that you're not taking from yourself to give to other people, I really just mean you're already a whole. You're extending and sort of giving from a full cup versus, let's say, people pleasing coming from a place of lack. So they are so different.
Very.
But for some reason, as human beings, we tend to mix them up together. And I'm sure you know what I mean when I say that.
No, totally. I think a lot of people use that and they're like, no, I'm just being kind, or this is just who I am. Because I think a lot of people also tend to attach it to their identity. Like, this is just who I am. Everybody knows this. Yes, I have too. And speaking of, because you were bringing up a good point about like you've heard this a lot. Where do people learn that from in the first place? Like, in your experience, where does people pleasing usually begin? And is it something that starts early on? Is it something that you could develop later in life? What do you think?
Absolutely, early on. I am such a believer of this idea that a lot of what we see as functional and dysfunctional habits or ways of behaviors rather in adulthood are very much so behaviors that stem from early childhood development. So I say yes, early on in life. I would say for people pleasing, and it differs, to be fair, but of course in some cases people would say that it can be a behavior that is more so adapted as a result of survival in what could be considered a dysfunctional environment. And of course, in some cases, some might say like familiar environments, cultural environments. I'm not trying to single out familiar environment here, but typically when we think early childhood, we think that it's sort of a way for you to cope and survive in when it comes to relating in your environment. And typically we learn those things very early on. We do. And unfortunately, when you've been exposed to, let's say, caregivers that have possibly been caregivers that were neglectful, maybe unstable, as well, emotionally dysregulated caregivers, when we've experienced a lot of conflict and violence or trauma or instability, hardship in your environment. These are the things that can absolutely happen in one's early childhood that can eventually lead them to become people who tend to be people pleasers.
100%. I think that you definitely answered that question to the best way that anyone could have answered it. Hey, yes, you. If you're enjoying this episode and want to be part of the DWHYA community, don't forget to leave a review, drop a comment, and rate the podcast. It helps us grow and keep the conversation going. Thank you. And I think something that came up for me as you were talking was how people just learn to be hyper aware due to all of these things. You know, as a child, and this is something that a lot of adults don't really know, is that even though children may not have the language to share how they're feeling, they're actually observing, and they can see things that are happening in their environment. So when you're emotionally neglectful, when you're rejecting them, when you're telling them, oh, you're too much or you're overreacting, they start taking that as information to start building this sense of pleasing. Oh, like if I bet if I don't do this, I won't upset mom or dad. I bet if I did this, I won't upset mom or dad. Oh, I know mom, and this is how she's gonna react. So I guess I should just like keep quiet and not really share how I'm feeling.
Absolutely.
And then you start learning and taking all of these things. Before you know it, it starts showing up in your other relationships, because you've learned from your primary caregivers, the people that are supposed to tell you right from wrong, people that are supposed to show you how to show your emotions, how to communicate your emotions, how to communicate your thoughts and feelings, are telling you that this is the way to do it. Then you're like, I bet, like, this is how I'm supposed to do it. And then it starts showing up in your other relationships. But, you know, the consequence of that is a person becomes a people pleaser and learns that their own emotions basically don't matter. Like, other people's comfort comes first before theirs.
And like, you just even highlighted a very great point here, where you said that a lot of people sometimes have the perception that because you're a child, it means your level of processing and sort of lower, like understanding information is very limited. I'm not saying that is not true. I would even say, rather than saying limited, more so it's not as advanced as obviously we would expect somebody who's an adult. But that's why this saying is so common, that children are sponges. They pretty much learn through just absorbing from their environment, meaning they observe. They pretty much process their world based off of what they are observing and what they are receiving. So it's so interesting when you find, I guess, people, let's just call them people,
adults.
Adults. I was not going to say caregivers. It's so interesting when you find people who sort of look at it from that perspective. And you're right, there's so much conditioning sometimes that can happen around the language that you use with kids that easily can help them understand that if I do this, I get love and affection. There is condition that is needed to be fulfilled in order for me to receive things. So you don't operate from a place of self. It's more so from a place of the need of others. Which is dangerous.
100%. And
saying,
you know, it's a dangerous place to be if you feel like you can only connect with people if it's conditional, because there's always, that means you're always looking for ways to please them, because you feel like they won't accept you for who you are if you don't meet their certain conditions. And that's a very, very dangerous place to be. You can basically never be yourself.
I think that's pretty much what it is. And which brings me to my next question. If people pleasing had a purpose early on, what do you think it was meant to protect people from?
A lot. It's protecting people from getting in trouble, from getting whoopings, from getting some bits. It's protecting people from getting in trouble, because if you don't meet those conditions, you already know the consequences. And a lot of times those consequences aren't usually small things. It's like, people are getting physically abused. So getting in trouble, feeling like abandoned. There's things that I hear from clients where, how sometimes parents who now remove their emotions in that dynamic where they use it as a manipulative tactic. They stop talking to you. The way they talk to you is now different. They just remove the emotions very coldly, and obviously if you already have a warm dynamic and somebody's being cold all of a sudden because you did something that maybe they didn't like, it could be very hard as a child to sit with. Even as an adult, it's hard enough. So imagine being a child. So also protecting you from being abandoned. And I think sometimes you also learn that that's the only way you get to connect. If you meet these conditions, this is how you connect with people. And then that starts leading to like your attachment style. It just becomes this whole disorganized, very insecure, very difficult way of interacting with people, period. So I think it's playing a huge role because, like you said, it's like survival. You're trying to survive because you're learning that this is the only way to connect. This is the only way you get love. This is the only way you wouldn't get rejected. This is the only way you wouldn't get ignored. And so you're like, okay, this is what I have to do to maintain this relationship. Yep.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I'll just start by saying...
Where is this going, Paula?
I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad.
We apologize in advance.
I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. Y'all are, I don't know, see me try to butter them off.
It's okay. It's okay.
I will give you an example.
Everybody will learn.
This is the mental association I made as a child.
Okay.
Cooking/food, like cooking equates to connection with my dad. So that was one, right? Where you notice that you get some sense of recognition, love, affection, and just like you feel good because you're made to feel this is where you stand out and they see you. Yeah. And they notice you because I'll be the first person to tell you, nobody was noticing me when it came to my grades. What they were noticing was how bad I was. How bad I performed in school. Ideally... naturally, I made the association that like the more I like made some of the best dishes that my dad has ever seen in this family, the more that happens, the more I get what you're saying, right? About connection, the more you're able to get connection, so to speak.
Now you learn to be a chef.
And the worst part is it worked in the sense where like he would call me from work and he would have people in his office and he would be like, my daughter cooked this food for me. And I'm like, yeah,
now maybe that's
me. Now switch it to my mom. My mom was more so, the more I became like her therapist, like became her friend, like the person who was listening to her feelings and like giving her advice and one was like, yes, connection. Yeah. So of course my mom might be like, my daughter is my therapist. I'm like, not anymore. But before it would be like, that's me. And the worst thing about that is going back to what we're saying about early childhood is it doesn't just stay in your early childhood environment. It translates to every other relationship. And there is nothing more dangerous than being a people pleaser in every other relationship. So those mental associations are real.
They are.
When you say that, but then also that desire for connection. I think another one I was thinking about when I was listening to you was not wanting to be too much. Now I know that was one for me where sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm too much. So of course a lot of your people pleasing becomes around masking behaviors in order to ensure that people don't feel like you are too much. But these things are real. I'm sharing these things because
they are.
It's true. We all have some level of mental association as kids growing up where we saw A plus B equals to C. So this is how I show up. But then this is how you start to show up in other relationships.
Yep. Basically, it starts to root in your attachment and how you really connect with people, like you're saying. So we've established that the people pleasing is playing a role, right? You know, it's playing that role. People learn that this is how they connect. It's rooted in survival. People are scared of conflict, rejection, abandonment. At what point does it actually stop protecting us and start costing us? And what is the first thing that we typically lose?
Your sense of autonomy, agency, your sense
everything
of
about you.
your sense of self,
Everything,
identity, your boundaries.
Boundaries.
Do we keep the list going? Your
It's really
peace
long.
of mind. Your peace of mind. Because we don't place a lot of value on peace of mind.
We don't.
There's so much that it leads to you, unfortunately, losing out of. And I know we're like laughing and having this conversation.
I know.
But it is very, very true.
It is true. It is true. And you know what's so funny? That as a recovering people pleaser, you start living in that reality. Like you know that something's wrong, but you are convincing yourself like, no, you're trying to have a rational explanation for why you keep doing something that clearly feels wrong in your body. And that's where that sense of autonomy that you're saying, that sense of self, it's like you're not living your true self. You're living based off a perception that you want to show up for other people to see. So if people see me this way, this is the perfect me. But deep down, when you're alone at night, you know that, oh, this is really not me. If I had a choice, which obviously we know that we do, but if that need for surviving and just that fear of losing your connections wasn't really there, you know that there is something different that you would do in maintaining these relationships.
It's so true. Like it's so difficult to trust oneself. Yeah. It's very easy for you to second guess your decision making.
Yep.
It can lead to resentment. This is real.
Very
it can
real.
lead to you being constantly disappointed.
Yep.
It can lead to you being emotionally exhausted. It can lead to just what's it called, like an imbalanced relationship.
Yeah.
And this is something I actually want to, I guess, bring this up in this conversation. I'm glad we're having this conversation because I have seen online where people say people pleasing is a manipulative behavior and people who are people pleasers are manipulative.
Oh, please.
Is that a myth or is there just some misunderstanding around that?
I definitely think there's misunderstanding around it. Like we're saying, I don't think anyone's being intentional about people pleasing. Like we're saying, it's actually very exhausting. So why would I want to put myself through exhaustion intentionally, right? So I think that it's hard. One thing I really observe about human beings is that we are so quick to make opinions about things that we don't go through. Like if you've not experienced it, it's so easy for you to be like, well, that's manipulative. Like it's kind of like the same thing with making decisions, right? Like someone that just struggles with making decisions and people are like, oh, you're just intentionally being annoying and you're being lazy. And it's like, well, that's for a lot of people, that's not what's happening. Not to say that there aren't people that are trying to be annoying, but it's actually deeply rooted in a strong sense of insecurity, or like maybe all that person's life, somebody has made decisions for them, right? So these things are very hard. And just wanted to put it out there, like, if there's someone that you know in your life that may express behaviors of people pleasing, be a little bit patient with them. It's for the most part, it's something that they're genuinely struggling with, and not trusting yourself to the point that you don't trust your feelings, your thoughts, you second guess yourself a lot. It's actually a very, very difficult, hard place to be in. Like even when people come to therapy, it takes weeks, months, sometimes years for them to come out of that behavior, because this becomes part of their identity. Like you feel like this is the only way you can connect with people if you put their own comfort first. Like that is something that's extremely hard to break. Yeah,
you're so right when you say that we have sometimes placed judgment and opinions over things that well, how did you say again?
I don't
over
remember.
things
Sorry.
that over things that we can't relate to,
or we haven't experienced
And-
ourselves.
yeah, or we haven't experienced ourselves, and also things that we don't understand.
Yeah.
And rather than choosing curiosity and being open to understand,
Yeah.
to understand where this is coming from or why this person might be showing up this way, we react. We're very quick to react and label, which is so true. So we're making it clear here that people pleasing is not a manipulative behavior.
No.
Even though I can understand how it can be perceived, like
as that
on the surface, as a manipulative behavior, because it has a little bit of that feel.
Yeah.
Like it has that manipulative feel, but it's
definitely
not.
feel very suspicious. 100%.
And I think you really broke it down in explaining this really being rooted in fear, insecurity, anxiety, fear of abandonment, rejection. Like your nervous system is sort of seeking safety and stability. It's not about trying to control other people.
Right.
And that's why sometimes we can make that we can get it confused.
Way to explain it. Right.
Where people pleasing can maybe be sort of seen as, let's say, if I keep making this person happy, then maybe I'm safe, or maybe they won't leave me.
Yeah.
Versus manipulation more so being like, if I don't know, I'm trying to think of a way.
Like manipulation would be like I'm
if I do
intentionally
this,
going to do this so that I can use it against them later. Like remember when I did that for you?
If I do this, you do what I want.
Exactly.
So very much so self-centered, self-focused, self-serving, which is very different. Self-serving in the sense of you do what I want versus I will be safe.
Right.
Very two different
directions.
For whoever is wondering out there.
Yep. I love that you bring that safety conversation up, because if this is rooted in your identity, in how you feel like this brings you some level of stability, then you have the urge to do it all the time. Like you don't know how to say no, you have no boundaries, you're always finding ways to please other people in a way that they're comfortable running around. It's really sad if you observe it. So like Paula was saying, coming from a place of curiosity and not always rushing into like somebody is doing this intentionally, because to be honest, they may just be surviving.
Yeah. Speaking of fear and safety, survival, whatnot.
Yeah.
What do people pleasers often fear would happen if they stopped?
That
both in relationships and within themselves. So what do they often fear would happen in the relationship, but also within themselves if they stop people pleasing?
For relationships, they feel like they can't have any form of relationship. Everything will fall apart, This person wouldn't love me, they wouldn't care about me if I'm not doing these things that have been making them happy, or if I'm not making their life more comfortable than mine. And so if I speak up, or if it's something I hear with my clients, but if I set that boundary, like they will hate me and they will stop talking to me. So there's that fear of losing your relationships that you built based off people pleasing, basically. For the most part, something that we see is that people are okay with boundaries. Like people are okay with people saying no. But from the people pleasers point of view, they're only seeing it from their point of view. So they think like if they don't do it, then there's no relationship. But sometimes from the other end, not to say that sometimes people don't take advantage of the people pleasing behaviors, but sometimes on the other end, people are okay with, like that's a boundary you set, great, I'm gonna receive that. So that's one part. For the other part of like within themselves, I think, like I was saying earlier, it becomes like your identity. So you're like, who am I if I'm not playing this role? Who am I if I'm not showing up this way for my friends? And that could be very hard, because this is a sense of self that you've built since your childhood into like your adulthood. So having that crisis of your identity crisis can be very difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that you want to do by yourself, like you're not in therapy. Like, it could be a very, very difficult place to be in. And it's why a lot of people may start that process and just fall back, because it's just always easier to go back to playing a role that you're used to, that has been validated, that's brought stability, that's brought you a sense of safety. Now, we know that sense of safety is not real, but, you know, it's playing a role that you're used to and you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Hey, yes, you. If you're enjoying this episode and want to be part of the DWHYA community, don't forget to leave a review, drop a comment, and rate the podcast. It helps us grow and keep the conversation going. Thank you.
I want to also ask you this same question, but also more so, how have you seen it for you? Like, how has it sort of shown up for you as well in, let's say, relationships or within yourself? Because you talked about being a recovering people pleaser, and I guess there are going to be people listening who are like, wait, what? There's something called a recovering people pleaser. Meaning, I don't have to be like this. How do I get there? What do I do? So I'm curious to know from your own experience as well.
Yeah.
How did you navigate this journey of whether it's stopping or relearning or rewiring in relationships and within yourself that you've seen be helpful?
I'm not gonna lie. First of all, I actually worked on this in therapy. So shout out my therapist back in the day when I was in
shout out.
Her name was Faith. Shout out Miss Faith Washington, I believe.
I don't know why your voice just dropped like you're about to rap. Start rapping.
No, I wanted to be like, I plead the fifth. Like, this is not something I did by myself. So just want to put it out there first. So I think a lot of the things that came, I think when I first realized I was a people pleaser, I couldn't believe it, because I was like, huh? Like, what is she like? Yeah, right, me. Like, I am the most outspoken person ever. Like, what are you talking about? But yes, you can be outspoken and still be a people pleaser. Like, you can say yes all the time. Like, I think that's how it showed up for me, saying yes all the time, and that avoiding conflict thing where it's like, I don't like something, but I wasn't like verbalizing it to people. So to keep the peace, I'll just be quiet. But this is something I learned from growing up, where it's like, if you're not, like you were saying, if you're not the problem child, like, again, I love my parents, but you know, if you're, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't like the most easygoing child, so I'm just gonna put it out there. I didn't make it easy for them.
It's the way you're smiling as you're saying that.
Okay, I was a problem child. Let me just put it out there, but from a place of love. So growing up, it started to get to the point where the messages I was receiving was like, you're a problem child, you don't make us happy, you're always bringing problems to the family, why always us? You know, when you're getting all those messages, I started to like, okay, like, maybe I need to tone it down a little bit. What they didn't know was like, my responses were extreme because I felt like nobody was hearing me out.
Right.
So, and something that, and I've talked to my parents about this a lot of time was, and I think a lot of parents do this, where it's like, they never hear the child out. It's almost like, oh, you go to school, they say you're in trouble, and they believe like the teachers or whatever. They don't even come to you first.
Yeah.
So when you take upon that identity of the problem child, of people even put that identity on you, which I think was something that happened to me as a child. I started to play the role of like, okay, like, I don't want to be putting that worry on other people, so I was like, all right, let me just become calm and not cause a lot of trouble. But the problem with that is, if somebody did something to upset me, I wouldn't say anything, I'll just be quiet.
Right.
If you could have slapped me in the face, now I might slap you back, but you know, like, if you wanted something, like, I won't say like I had a problem with it, and I'll still be okay with it, basically. So I was just okay with a lot of things, because I wasn't trying to cause conflict and issues in my relationships. And what I worked on in therapy is that was problematic, because one, I was losing my voice, I was losing my autonomy, I was losing my sense of self. And you can't even say you're this outspoken person, but you're not really outspoken. You're outspoken about only specific things, but when it comes to your own sense of self, or like you showing up for yourself in a way that is actually real safety, then you're not really showing up for yourself, right? So that's something that we worked on, and it was a very uncomfortable journey, because I remember when I first started setting boundaries with my parents, I was like, this lady wants me to die. Like, does she want my parents to kill me? Like, but initially it was hard, but the more I did it, the more I was uncomfortable, the more I was like, wait, even if they don't agree with me, Aisha did it and I didn't die. So, you start to rewire your nervous system to be okay with being uncomfortable, and I also learned that even though I was uncomfortable, I still felt safe. Like, I still felt okay. So it was hard in the beginning, but once I started to see that, this was creating a healthier pattern, I was like, okay, I see what they see. I see what they mean. This is something that isn't as horrible as I thought it was when it was first brought to my attention. So
thank you for sharing. That is so helpful. I appreciate you kind of really breaking it down and using obviously your parents as an example, but also really being able to help, I guess, whoever is listening understand your frame of mind before, your frame of mind during, your frame of mind after as well. And admitting that it took work, it took time, and for some people, it might continuously keep taking time and work, in the sense where, for myself, I have way better boundaries now with my family, just like yourself. And it's like light work if I want to set boundaries. That's how it feels. But then in newer interactions or like relationships, it's not as simple and as easy as it is, let's say, with maybe family. So to some degree, there are still aspects that I need to work on, and I will continuously be working on, because some people, for them, it maybe shows up in their work environment. For some people, it shows up in their romantic relationships or their friendships or family. So it's really important to also be able to understand and, I guess, know where it's showing up for you, but then also saying that you can address it in one area of relationships, but then you might still be struggling in other areas as well.
That's true, 100%. And so I know we've actually talked about this, but I actually want to, because these are, I think, more specific people-pleasing behaviors that people may engage in most often, like saying yes all the time and over-explaining. How do you think those show up in everyday moments? Or, like, for you, how has it shown up in the past?
You said saying yes all the time.
And, like, over-explaining yourself. Yeah.
Okay. I'm an over-explainer. I would say that because I've also been told as well. I've been
good feedback.
I've been told.
Here's the feedback for you, Paula.
And that's more like that's more like, do you know you tend
to, you don't have to explain, like, it's okay.
Do you know you tend to over explain? You can't just say this. I think it's so, I hate to say it, but it's so second nature to me right now that it's even something I have to become conscious of. And I do think, in my own opinion, that some of this is tied to trauma. Some of this is tied to, like, ADHD as well. So it's something that I've noticed that it's almost is like, I hate to say it, but it becomes so ingrained in your identity where for me, I over explain because I don't expect people to always understand what I'm saying, because sometimes I don't even understand what I'm saying. So how can I believe and expect that somebody else is going to understand what I'm saying? Because in my head, it seems just all very jumbled up.
Right.
So I tend to over explain. But then also I over-explain or apologize. You see that one where you're apologizing excessively.
Apologizing one is
like
real.
Apologizing excessively, that's another thing I do. That I definitely know a lot.
I do that
we talk
too,
about it as well, where
kids
who maybe grew up in unsafe environment are the ones who typically apologize excessively, where it's like, I need to soften the situation first before, or I apologize for having needs.
Yep.
Let's just put it that way. Or
That's
a
true.
long justification or reasoning around why you have boundaries.
Right.
That's
right.
very common. And I think the saying yes, to be honest, the saying yes one I've light work now. That one is light work. That one I've really improved on.
That's good.
In the sense where before, yes, and I will be so resentful. I will be so angry. I wouldn't even be angry to them, like towards the people. I was always angry towards myself.
Yeah.
That's the part that I think people don't know. Sometimes, so some people it's towards other people. For sometimes it's towards yourself. In my own case, a lot of what it would be expected to be outward anger and resentment is towards myself. It feels safer to sort of beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't mind. And I think, unfortunately, dealing with chronic illness and pain is what actually taught me to be able to stop people pleasing around this idea of saying yes when you really don't have capacity.
Yeah.
You have no choice but to say no. So when I started recognizing that, no one is upset, no one is affected, no one is reacting, no one's like, I hate you. And I think for me, it was always the fear of being seen as not maybe a good daughter, good sister, good friend, good this, because these are things that you pride yourself on. Yeah. But then everybody else is fine. Then you start to realize that like, okay, this is something that is feasible and this is something that I can possibly do. When you start to see that it is not unsafe to have these boundaries. What about you?
I think, do I over explain myself? I have to think about it.
I was even thinking too, as you're saying that.
I definitely feel like I say sorry a lot.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of Nigerian kids say sorry a lot. So
that is so true.
Take that. Sometimes I'm like, I can see myself in someone. We're all saying sorry.
Do what you wish with that.
Do what you wish with that. But you know what's so funny? I have a friend now that says sorry a lot, and I'm always calling her out on it. Because now that I recognize that it's like, it could be a potential tendency, I'm like, no, you don't have to. Like, especially when it's done to me, Sha, I'm like, no, like, there's no, like, I get it. Like, you don't have to apologize to me. Or, like, you don't have to over-explain yourself.
Yeah.
I think I definitely do this sorry a lot. I think over-explaining, it depends. And if I'm over-explaining myself, it's to justify the boundary, or like to not make it seem like, I'm doing this intentionally to hurt you. So like, let's say I said no to something, I'll be like, well, it's just because I have podcast recording and like I have a meeting and I have this and I have that and I have like, because I don't want the person to feel like I don't want to hang out with them or I don't want to spend time with them. So that's when I'll over-explain. Oh my God, Darren,
now you're having a come to Jesus
I'm
moment.
Like, oh my God, I do.
Life moment.
But I'm working on it where it's like, if I do say no about something, like for example, like you guys, most of my friends live in Philly, and if my friend is like, come to Philly and whatever, before I'll have to over-explain myself, like, no, I have recording. Like now I'll just say like, I have a busy weekend, like I have commitments that already made sense to me. Now if somebody asks me, like, what are you doing, then I'll tell them. But I don't just go with, I mean, I have the urge to write a paragraph of like, this is what I'm doing, like I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. But now I don't even say sorry. I'm just be like, dang, I can't make it because I already have commitments that weekend. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I still fall into that trap, depending on, let's say I've said no like multiple times and I'm like, it started to look weird. I don't know if this person's going to take it the wrong way. Then I'll be like, all right, let me break it down to this person. But I think
I appreciate you sharing. It made me actually think of the fact that I have a friend who I admire the way he sets boundaries, in the sense where he'll just be like, no thanks. No thanks.
I'm not, it's crazy. I want to get there.
No thanks. He'll say, no, not feeling like it. Let's rain check I need to spend more time with myself.
Wait,
Let's rain check.
Dustin?
I'm not, of course.
I can see that. Shout out Dustin.
Shout
Wait,
out
I love
Dustin.
that. I actually love that.
I'm just amazed at the way and I love the fact that, and I think sometimes it's so helpful having friends like that.
Like that, yeah.
And especially if you're somebody who actually sees it and you admire it, in the sense where I'm like, I need to I'm getting there. And he would just be like, oh yeah. And we might even be having a conversation and he just goes, okay, we've come to the end of the conversation. I'm getting tired and I have other things to do. And I'm like, okay, like how can you fault that but respect that when you think about it?
Yeah.
But I think it really allows you as well see that you can advocate and show up for yourself.
Exactly.
Like you're not ever making your needs be what's the word?
A burden to yourself.
Yeah, a burden or a second thought. Like it is of priority, and it allows you show up as your authentic self, so to speak. And you 100%. See, in this case now with this friend, I love and admire that so much, because one thing for sure is I know with him I'm going to get honesty, truth,
everything,
and he's
real.
always exactly. So
real.
When you actually do think about it, there is so much benefit in starting to work towards transitioning some of these people-pleasing patterns.
Yep, 100%. Shout out Dustin. If you didn't know, Dustin was on our podcast season 2 talking about common controlling behavior. So please go listen to that episode. And just so to wrap up, Paula, if people-pleasing is something we've learned to survive, right? And if for somebody that is trying to be like a recovering people pleaser like me, what do you think it requires from them now? Like what are things that they should do to themselves right now? Hey, yes, you. If you're enjoying this episode and want to be part of the DWHYA community, don't forget to leave a review, drop a comment, and rate the podcast. It helps us grow and keep the conversation going. Thank you.
First thing is you have to be comfortable with sitting with discomforting emotions and feelings.
Yep.
And I'm not just saying your own discomforting emotions and feelings, but you have to be comfortable accepting like other people's as well discomforting emotions and feelings, because that is just life. That is what it means to be a human being. People are always not going to be pleased with you.
100%.
And the truth is, you can literally do nothing
about that.
People are pleased.
Yep.
You can do everything and people aren't pleased. What does that tell you?
You cannot please a human being. You can only please yourself.
It tells you that you've been wasting your time and your poor energy.
No, 100%.
But I really do think that it is such a big thing to be able to learn how to sit and like tolerate discomfort.
Yep.
Whether it's someone being disappointed, like, I wish we could have spoken more on the phone and had conversation. But then I also understand and respect that you need time to yourself. And granted,
100%.
not everybody thinks like that or reacts like that, but not taking on what is other people's stuff to work on.
Yeah.
Because most times I always say that, honestly speaking, people's reactions to your boundaries also tell you a lot about their own boundaries and their own relationship to healthy boundaries.
100%.
So you can do with that what you wish.
What you want, right.
I think the other thing that I would also say as well is that it most likely requires you to have to, build a stronger sense of self. I typically just look at it from this idea of having an intimate relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, where the more you understand who you are, how you function, the things that trigger you, your stressors, and we're not saying policing your behaviors or micromanaging yourself, because that's not building intimacy. Intimacy is ease, it's trust, it's communication, it's flow, it's not rigid. So if you're finding yourself doing more policing, that's not self-trust or intimacy with oneself. That's just, I don't know what that is. That's something.
Yeah, right.
What do you think?
I think everything you've said, the only thing I'll add is to just be patient with yourself and to have some compassion with yourself. Like, this is not, I think I said it earlier, it's something that takes time to unlearn from, and not being critical of yourself. I know it can feel frustrating because it's like, oh, why do I keep doing this? Why does this keep happening? But not being harsh on yourself and being patient and compassionate, and knowing that it's not going to be a linear process. There's going to be ups and downs through that process. But the fact that you're even trying something new, or the fact that you're even trying and learning to trust yourself, trust your own feelings, trust your own thoughts, is already a big step in that process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I will add to what you said. But I love this conversation. 100% loved it.
Okay. So
I think it was very great.
As we're coming to the end of this conversation, for those who are still with us, for those who have left us, come back. I'm just joking.
Come and listen.
For those who are still with us, it is very important for you to always check in with how you're feeling.
Yeah.
What's coming up for you as we're talking about this, not with judgment, not with criticism, but more so bringing curiosity and compassion to your feelings and thoughts as you're listening and engaging with this conversation.
Yeah.
And to keep the conversation flowing and the conversation going, how can our listeners find us?
Good question, Paula. Our listeners can find us on Instagram at DWHYA podcast. They can find us on Instagram and X. They can find us on TikTok at DWHYA podcast 1. And in case you just have questions, suggestions, feedback, or just thoughts after listening to the episode, you could always email us at info@dwhyapodcast.com. Please send your thoughts, feedback, and suggestions.
And follow and subscribe.
Follow and subscribe.
Okay, how can our listeners find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at ab.popoola, Popoola. What about you? Where can they find you?
And you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and I guess LinkedIn at Paula.p.martins. I wasn't sure if I should say LinkedIn.
Listen, you can connect anywhere, so yes to LinkedIn. And
with that being said, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Do We Have Your Attention podcast. Until next time.
See you at the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Do We Have Your Attention podcast is executively produced by Paula B. Martins and Aisha Popoola, with co-production by Kyra Dosumu Ogundipe.